As far as the Braves' free agent needs or offseason needs, outfield is at the top of the list or very, very close to the top of the list. They definitely need to add at least one starting caliber outfielder, if not multiple. And a name recently just came on the trade market. According to Ken Rosenthal, the Chicago Cubs are trying to deal Cody Bellinger, who just opted into his deal for $27.5 million this season. That is obviously a very, very hefty price tag that I don't think the Braves will be interested in, but I don't think any team will be interested at that price point. And if the Cubs want to deal him, they're probably going to have to eat some of that contract, and that's where things become interesting.
Yeah, eat $7 million, and now we're talking. I mean, it's a short-term deal, just like you said. He's got a player option the following year, correct?
Yes.
So maybe they eat $12 million total, up the prospect capital. You get him for 2 years, assuming he's going to opt into that contract. Not exactly the Braves' MO when it comes to options. But, like you said last segment, there has to come a point in time where you got to push the envelope. You got to get a little outside of your comfort zone if you're Alex Anthopoulos. And correct me if I'm wrong, he's got reverse splits, correct, for a lefty? So he could technically platoon with Jared Kelenic, even though they're both lefties.
Well, I don't see him platooning if he's not going to platoon if the Braves go after him. But I do think.
Well, then that would just be well, we took on all that money last offseason. I mean, whatever they do in the outfield.
I'm done with Jared Kelenic.
Yeah, you're done with Jared Kelenic. I find it very hard to believe that this organization is ready to give up on him just yet.
I'm not saying you got to give up on him, but there's no way you're going into the season with Jared Kelenic being a starting option. Like, it's just it would be foolish to me.
I mean, well, this is how I see it. I think he's gonna, have a very large role to begin the season because Ronald Acuna Jr. is not going to be ready. And then that person who was ever starting in right field, depending upon how he plays in that sample size, they're going to give him the opportunity. Maybe he doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Whoever is starting in right field for Ronald will then move either to 1, a platoon, or 2, starting every single day in left field based on Kelenic's, sample size. I don't know. We don't know anything about Acuna's timeline, publicly. So, this is kind of just me throwing darts at a wall, but that's how I see the outfield being managed, And Bellinger could do that.
Here's the point.
They
need one starting outfielder because they're at the very least, because we don't know what's going to happen with Ronald. We don't know anything about Jared Kelenic in terms of production next season. I'm going in with both of them as question marks. Hopefully one of them by the end of the season is able to be a starting caliber outfielder. That's what you're hoping. If that's your hoping, that's perfectly fine. Go out there and get one starting caliber guy. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is Cody Bellinger can be that guy. He is going to be a guy that's starting every single day for you. He's good defensively. He's really a center fielder. So if you put him out in left, you're definitely getting plus defense and left and right field. Yeah. Well, Matt Olson, Iron Man, that guy's never sitting down. That guy's never sitting down unless it's for the big bear playing a little first base, because I just want to see that. Right. But my thing about Bellinger, right, is he's got a long swing. Yeah. He's been a pillar of inconsistency. But there's no doubt that the peaks have been unbelievable. Awesome. 2019 NL MVP, 2 years ago, top 10 finish in the MVP. It's another one of those guys where you're sitting here and it's like, does Alex Anthopoulos love a good gamble? Yeah, this guy loves a good gamble, but he usually has his reasons for a gamble. And one reason could be the upside. Maybe he thinks, getting him in a different system and working with him, he can help him reach that peak more consistently. I mean, he's still just 29 years old. And the player option, those things can be worked around. Maybe they go out there and they guarantee his contract for next year, but they do it for like $15 million. And now you got him under 2 years. So there's things that can be done. But
I think, the Bellinger thing is exactly what I just said, though. Like Ronald Acuna Jr., let's say he's out the first 2 months of the season. Or he can't play in the outfield for the first 2 months of the season. So your starting outfield is Michael Harris, Cody Bellinger, and Jared Kelenic. You're giving those first 2 months of the season, though not, you can't just forget about them. It's the time where you're giving Jared Kelenic saying, hey, the clock is officially starting. It is, it's now or never. And by the time Ronald Acuna joins, you'll have, I think, enough of a sample size to make an informed decision and being like, you're not it. You're a bench piece. You're good in defensively. You can run the bases, but you just can't start every day for this. That seems like the perfect...
listen, when I say I'm done with Jared Kelenic, I'm done going into the season acting like he's going to be there at the end of the season, because I don't think we can go in there expecting him to be a part of the starting rotation or whatever, so to speak, in the outfield at the end of the season. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. But I don't think, we always
hope
say
is not a strategy.
Yeah. So hope, we can't just hope that he is, right? I think that's really my biggest thing. I have nothing against Jared Kelenic. I think there's a chance he could turn around.
Love the way he plays.
I think my biggest thing is what you just said, hoping that he's going to be there at the end of the season to be your starting left fielder.
Well, hope is for the White Sox. Yeah. Hope is for, the Cardinals. Hoping is for a team that doesn't have World Series aspirations.
Yeah. And when you can get outfielders for relatively cheap, at least a platoon with them, I think it's easy. I'll say one last thing. Cody Bellinger, not exactly my cup of tea. I don't think this is something the Braves should do. But if they do though, and they're willing to eat money, obviously, if they're willing to eat a little bit, listen, it'd be fun. It's star power. Yeah, there's definitely high upside. I'm just not sure if he's ever going to reach the heights that he did in the past.